As the Yellow Vest crisis rocked France, the anti-rioter law of April 2019 made intentionally covering one's face illegal, punishable by up to a year in prison or a €15,000 fine. 1 year later, amid the coronavirus pandemic, wearing masks in public has become mandatory. Whether as a symbol of rebellion or sign of responsibility, it's an object that's rarely come without controversy. We take a look at the history behind the mask. They were known as the Beak Doctors. As a devastating plague spread across Paris in 1619, the outfit was thought to have been developed by Charles de Lorme, the chief physician of King Louis XIII. A full-length gown, a stick to examine patients without touching them, and of course a bird-like mask with its elongated beak.
Charles de Lorme, ce qu'il présente donc dans son masque, c'est un certain nombre de produits qui vont venir contrebalancer les effluves du milieu ou du malade, du pestiféré. Donc il va mettre un certain nombre de produits d'origine végétale comme des aromates, des compresses de vinaigre, du thym, éventuellement de l'ail. Donc tous ces produits qui sont pensés comme permettant de protéger le médecin contre les influences du milieu.
An environmental threat. That was the thinking of the time, based on the theories of Hippocrates. Deadly diseases were thought to be spread by miasma, a noxious form of bad air. That's until the discovery of microorganisms at the end of the 19th century, when Louis Pasteur proved that germs were responsible for contagious diseases such as tetanus, diphtheria, or rabies. In hospitals, as staff become aware that they too can spread germs, surgeons start wearing gloves and masks, sparking a heated debate.
La fabrique de ces masques va vraiment être quelque chose de très localisé dans certains services hospitaliers. Je pense par exemple à Paul Berger qui va montrer l'efficacité de l'usage du masque et qui va être attaqué assez violemment quand il va présenter ça, là, pareil, à la fin du 19e siècle, par un autre grand et fameux chirurgien qui s'appelle Félix Terrier et qui va lui dire que non, il n'utilisera pas de masque car finalement c'est la pratique dans le corps et dans les chairs qui est le lieu de l'infection.
It wasn't until the Manchurian plague of 1910 that mask wearing became widely accepted. The epidemic killed tens of thousands of people, with a mortality rate close to 100%. For Chinese doctor Wu Lin-tai, the virus wasn't only spread by rats' fleas, but transmitted from human to human through the air, a pneumonic plague.
Donc la peste de Mandchourie, elle rentre dans l'histoire pour deux raisons. La première, c'est que le docteur Wu va mettre en scène l'utilisation de ce masque contre la peste pulmonaire, qui est finalement une nouveauté de l'époque. La deuxième diffusion du masque, ça va être une diffusion populaire, notamment dans la presse. Toute la presse des illustrés va montrer ces masques, et donc on va voir toute une iconographie des masques de la peste de Mandchourie apparaître dans la presse européenne ou nord-américaine.
But Europe did not immediately take to mask wearing. When the Spanish flu broke out in 1918, only a handful of doctors recommended their use. Most remained convinced that the threat was not viral, but atmospheric, a type of bad influence, thus deemed an influenza. In Japan, meanwhile, masks were being made available for the health service. And on the American West Coast, medical staff would protect their faces against flu, a measure supported by law.
À la fin de l'automne 1918 et pendant l'hiver 1919, le bureau de santé de Californie va rendre le port du masque obligatoire. Ce qui est aussi intéressant aux États-Unis, c'est qu'il va avoir un mouvement de protestation, notamment en janvier 1919, contre l'obligation du port du masque, qui va considérer que c'est une mesure liberticide.
It was only in 1933 that the flu was identified as a virus, and a vaccine was developed following the Second World War. In the 50s, as the pharmaceutical industry developed antibiotics, the spread of infectious diseases died down, at least in wealthier countries. For a time, masks all but disappeared, until the SARS epidemic of 2003. With China at its epicenter, this first form of coronavirus spread across the whole of Southeast Asia.
Ça va être vraiment un événement important qui va développer la pratique de l'usage du masque dans la population pour se prémunir contre la circulation de ce virus et aussi en signe de solidarité collective face à l'épidémie et aux dangers qu'elle comporte pour la société.
The popular association of mask wearing and Asia also comes from another airborne threat: pollution. Without a proactive response from local authorities, masks become a form of protection and also of political dissent. With COVID-19, masks have become a go-to accessory the world over. From Beijing to Tokyo, New York to Paris, an object once associated only with illness and infection has evolved into a modern fashion statement and a sign of solidarity.